Hey, good afternoon. As we hit the noon hour, we'll let people join the call and get started here shortly. Okay, well, thank you for joining us today for the Recycle Right at Work, Writing a Recycling Plan. This is a 30-minute webinar that is going to cover the topic of writing a recycling plan. Before we officially get started on our topic of information, I want to share with you some information. You're going to be receiving a follow-up email with the survey, so we ask that you take the 5-question survey and give us feedback, possibly topics you're interested in learning more about. Everybody on the webinar is also on mute. If you feel you have a question, you can put it in the questions box. There is a chat feature. You can put your information in there if you'd like to talk to anybody that's also on the webinar. Share your contact information there. The meeting is being recorded, and this is basically a short 30-minute format. If you would like to have a more in-depth conversation about this topic, we're happy to set up a one-to-one meeting with you. Some tips about using GoToWebinar. There are handouts in this webinar. They're found in the handout section. There's 2 of them there to download. And also, you'll see there's a questions tab. That's where you're going to ask questions. If you do have any, we'll take the questions at the end of the webinar. Sometimes you might lose your screen might disappear. If that does happen to you, you can find this blue like snowflake icon. It's usually on the toolbar. It'll press that, your presentation will come back to the front. And now we're up to the write a recycling plan. So we're going to unpack the key components of a recycling plan today and how to write one. Having this recycling plan is going to help your program be easier to implement and be more sustainable. And let's not forget introductions. That's me. I'm Sheila Davis. I'm your business program administrator. Been here with SWACO since 2021. In the past, I was in commercial sales for waste and recycling industry and been in business development for many years. I work with all business sizes, whether it's a small office or industrial manufacturing. I'm here to help you navigate recycling for your business. I'm glad you're attending the webinar today. And the easiest way to reach me is by email. So here's a brief agenda of how we're going to unpack this next 30 minutes. We'll provide you with an overview of SWACO and why your business needs to implement or improve recycling initiatives. We'll break down the components of a good recycling plan, and I'll share with you the free resources, where to find them, answer your questions at the end. So if you're not familiar with SWACO, it stands for the Solid Waste Authority of Central Ohio. We came into being in 1989 when the state passed House Bill Law 592 that created solid waste districts in Ohio. There are 52 districts, of course 88 counties, and Franklin County is a SWACO's own jurisdiction. We are also the only one in the state that owns and operates the landfill. So our job is to divert material from the landfill to extend the life of the landfill, and I personally specifically focus on the business sector to achieve those diversion goals. So we often ask the question, like, where is material coming from? To understand why we're focusing on the business sector and helping you guys with recycling initiatives, we're going to explain that 60% of material that's coming to the landfill is coming from the commercial sector, and 40% is from residential. So the landfill receives about 5,000 tons a day. That's weight that is equivalent of 800 African elephants walking into the landfill, or 3,500 Toyota Priuses driving into the landfill every day. So presently, the number of trucks visiting us here in Grove City is about 500 to 600 a day. And of all the material that's coming to the landfill, like I said, 60% of that is coming from the commercial sector. The makeup of that material, of what's in the landfill, is on this chart explains this waste characterization study that was done. And the results showed that we're throwing away materials that could have been recovered through recycling or composting instead, or reuse. So 76% of all the material that is in the landfill does not belong here. This includes food waste, recyclable items, and other recoverable materials that had the potential to be reused. So you might be surprised to see that food waste makes up the largest percentage by weight. That is at 15%. And then cardboard is second at 10%. So those blue category there, 25% recyclable material, is a lot of things that are generated in offices: paper, plastic, aluminum, plastic water bottles, aluminum cans, so that sort of thing, cardboard. Even more facts to support your business making recycling a priority or improving. Maybe you're already recycling, you're going to do more. In February of 2022, SWACO was working with Columbus-based EMC Research. We conducted a representative sample survey of 1,300 county residents inquiring about attitudes and behaviors towards reducing waste, gathering opinions on just local recycling efforts. So this is an important factor that 78% of residents stated they believe businesses should be required to offer recycling to customers and employees. 73% of residents reported a greater likelihood to shop at a business that uses environmentally friendly products and recycle or compost their waste. And 80% desire to see recycling or composting efforts started or improved in their place of work or school. So these recent statistics really help us see that recycling matters, and especially for the business community. So we're going to look at an in-depth develop a recycling plan in this toolkit. So the 7 steps of a recycling plan. This is the one of them. It's the develop a recycling plan, and we're going to dive into that one specifically. So the purpose of having a recycling plan is to organize the information and identify responsibilities for implementing the program and the goals that you want to achieve. So a recycling program serves as an important reference document when things change. Think of it like a standard operating procedure. Some organizations also have a green team to help them tackle developing a plan and implementing and maintaining the program. So it's not necessarily required, but if you have a lot of people or multiple buildings, it's probably good to have a committee or a green team to help with the recycling plan. So the template that we're going to talk about it's in the handout section of the webinar for you to download. And I took a screenshot here to show you where you would find it on the SWACO.org site. It's under the diversion tab at the top of the SWACO.org site. There's a diversion tab, and then under diversion, you're going to see businesses as a selection in that category, and under businesses, you have the recycling toolkit. The orange circle there is where you can download the entire toolkit. I think it's about 20 pages. If you just want to download the template itself, the actual parts that we're talking about today, then you're going to click on the develop a recycling plan, and the template will be specifically right there. So to best manage your waste stream, SWACO recommends that you conduct some type of waste audit to familiarize yourself with the waste that your business is generating. The waste audit is basically an analysis to determine what you're generating, where it's coming from. And also you need to look at what your waste hauler, if they offer a recycling service, like what materials do they accept? And to take a look at that, so here's just a list of some of the questions that you're going to think about when you're filling out this document. The template recycling plan looks just like this. It's 100% Word document, easy to edit. You would change the recycling plan and put your business name in there. You could delete the word template from recycling plan and put your business name there as well. And then you're basically going through the materials that are accepted. Maybe your hauler only accepts cardboard, so maybe you're only recycling cardboard, or maybe you're only going to collect cans and take them to the metal recycler to get aluminum, cash for the aluminum, so your office can have pizza parties once a quarter, what have you. You need to, if you already have a document shredding service, you might want to include that you have that service and that's happening, and that's part of your recycling plan. Those are all factors to consider when you're filling it out. The second section in that recycling plan is who are the points of contact internally for recycling? Do you have a facility manager, housekeeping, a green team leader? Do you have an outside contract the janitorial service. And the document is pretty easy to fill out. Here's where you would put that information. And if you don't have a housekeeping person, you would just delete that section. And maybe you have you need more than 3. You need to rename them. You know, maybe you're not called facility manager, maybe your operations manager is the person. So you can edit that however it would fit your needs. So the next section of the recycling plan is all about the recycling service provider. This document's designed to make your program sustainable. So you want to capture your account number, a contact person at your hauler, and pertinent information about your service. It's important so that it's easy for you to connect and reach out with them. You might need to increase service one day or have billing questions, regarding your recycling. So this section, it looks just like this. It has every place you can put in all that information. In fact, this gives you multiple categories for providers' names because maybe you do have a shredding service and you're going to put that information separately. Maybe you have your bale cardboard and some different companies picking that up than what your commingle recycling is, excuse me. And then you're definitely going to want to capture what your pickup days are. Maybe you're serviced once a month or every other week. You want to capture that information and the size of the container that you have for trash and recycling so you understand what your program is. Another section of the recycling plan talks about where your material comes from. You need to consider if you're going to add recycling and you currently have desk side trash bins, are you adding recycling bins to your desk side bins, or are you creating a community collection point? You certainly can have a hybrid program where you create some community collection points and maybe you keep some desk side. You just have to figure out what is going to work for your team. So here's a section of what it looks like. Where is material collected from? And you would customize these. You could put copy room, break room, cubicle area, toxicology department, whatever you want it to be. You can change all that to make it fit for what your program is. And I would make a note here too, if you are going to have desk side service, you would want to put the number of cubicles you have. Maybe you have 41 cubicles and you have 41 desk side trash and recycling that's part of your routine for servicing them. Another area to address is your internal collection system. Like how is your program being executed? It's really all about defining responsibility, especially if you have custodial staff that is responsible for some components and not others. And it's just really important to identify who is going to be responsible for what. So in this example we provided, it's an office building where there are multiple floors. Maybe you are a small business with just a reception desk, a break room, and office and storage. Who is taking out the recycling to the dumpster for pickup or dropping the recycling off at a SWACO drop box? This section is important, and you, of course, can, again, edit it to what you need it to be. And always, a good, successful recycling plan has an education component. You have a kickoff meeting to launch that you're having a recycling program. You're going to want to make sure you have containers that have proper signage that educates the user what materials go where, what can be accepted, and you're going to want to commit to revisiting recycling education. And we always suggest April and November. April Earth Day is April 22nd, and America Recycles Day is November 15th. And this is what the launch document looks like. It's an easy one-pager. You can edit. You can put links in there if you want them to join a virtual meeting or a Teams meeting about recycling. There's places you can put who to contact, all this stuff that's in your recycling plan. You can certainly pull those specific things out and put it in your launch document so that everyone knows what's happening at your business. And also part of a recycling plan is having goals. And your company may have existing goals for material diversion and recycling. You can certainly insert them into this document. You do not need to make new goals if you have some already created. But if you don't have any goals around recycling, then we suggest you use a template to help you define this broad goal and then narrow it down to be more specific. So the goals section kind of looks like this, lets you insert your final goal here. Maybe it's something you're trying to do quarterly. Maybe it's a short sprint goal that you're going to try to get something done in a shorter period of time for an overarching goal. But again, it gives you examples of what a specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound, and financial impact goal as it relates to recycling. And then there's a section in that goals document that lets you write out what your just put it in words, I guess, here in a paragraph form, what you've determined would be the goal and the time period you want to achieve it in. So the good news is once you have walked through your building and did an audit, and once you've recorded and written your recycling plan using this this template, then you have completed the 2 required steps that you would need to receive funding for indoor containers, signage, and support for starting a recycling service. And this program is called the Business Recycling Champions Program. It's the newest resource for businesses here at SWACO. It's not too difficult to achieve by doing these steps, and you can earn up to $2,000 in financial assistance. Now I'm going to check the question section. Feel free to also connect directly with me. If you have questions, I've got my email up there. It is the easiest way to reach me. Let me check with questions. Okay, one of the questions that came in was, is there a cost for the one-to-one service from SWACO? And the answer to that is no, it's free. It's free. Just think of us like a consultant. We're happy to come out to your place of business, walk through your facility with you, look at your current state of recycling or trash, or what you might need, how many containers you might need, how to handle hard to recycle materials. We can even help you with food waste diversion if you're looking to divert food out of your cafeteria or your break room area. Or if you're a restaurant, you need help with that, happy to help you there as well. I do not see any other questions. Well, if you have a question, pop it in the question box. Let's see, next slide. I do want to remind people there are additional resources that you may not be aware of. For example, recycleright.org. The free sign maker tool is here. This is also where you could have a search tool. Let's say you have maybe your business doesn't usually get pallets and you have an odd pallet. You need to figure out how to get rid of the pallet. You could put that in the search tool, and it will tell you businesses nearby that you could that would take the pallet. We also have the SaveMoreThanFood.org site, which is where you have the food waste diversion information for both residential and businesses. Of course, the resources we're talking about today are at SWACO.org. If you don't remember my long name for an email address, if you remember biz@swaco.org, that comes to us as well. You can request that free technical assistance that way. And if you did not know, SWACO has a YouTube channel, which will allow you to watch previous recordings. There's even videos about setting up a green team. If you don't have a green team, you need help to set one up, we have videos on that as well. We always invite people to stay connected, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Twitter. Follow us on social media to learn more about the things that are happening at the landfill and also in your community for recycling. SWACO does own and operate the Hazardous Household Waste Drop-Off Center, the Convenience Center. We are working with all the communities in the county. So if you live in the county, there's probably services you could take advantage of as a resident as well. Alrighty, that's at the end of my presentation, and I don't see any other questions that are popping up. I'll give you back a few minutes for the rest of your day, and thank you very much. Have a great day.